Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Pretty good day here on Tuesday as we're recording. Still waiting on the end of that Mavs and Thunder game so I can get the exact results to you. I'll have those in the live stream tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, as always. But I do have some looks for the only game in the playoffs that we have here on Wednesday. Knicks and Pacers play game 2. So I'm going to be looking at an SGP from this game. Also got a couple other bets here. Should keep in mind Mitchell Robinson now ruled out for the playoffs for the remainder of this postseason. So we're not going to see any Mitch Rob in this series anymore. I'll talk a little bit about what that's going to do, but let's get right into these bets. Let's kick it off with a couple bets and a same game parlay that I really enjoy. Brings us to minus 112 on FanDuel. So we're going full unit with Dante DiVincenzo, 15 plus points, as well as OG Anunoby, 6 plus rebounds. OG's rebound prop has gotten up to 7.5 now, which is a little bit high for my liking, even though I still think he's good to go over it. I'm going to dumb it down and bring it to 6 for the purpose of this bet. But starting with Dante, he's back, baby. I mean, I know he made some threes in that last game, but what really made me feel good about the fact that I took Dante over 15.5 points last game for his core bet was the fact that I knew this was a better series for him than the Philadelphia series last one, where Deuce McBride definitely played a big role in defending Maxey, making some open catch and shoot, which Philly gives up way more than does this Indy team. And Dante can drive way better than Deuce can, and his defense is going to be better against these larger Indiana players like Tyrese and Nembhard. Not huge guys, but a little bit stronger and a little bit less quickness that they rely upon, like the way that Tyrese Maxey does, and pure speed and stamina, right? So Dante's a little bit better of a matchup on defense for this one, and all he has to do is keep driving, and he'll find his shot like he did in the second half of this last game. I'm not saying it's going to propel him to making a ton of shots, but what makes you feel good is that he was taking a lot of stuff inside the paint last game. So I think Tibbs is now good with Dante. He's not going to be putting him back in the doghouse, playing him 25 to 30 minutes. We're going to see him closer to 35 to 40 in this series. For OG, there's no Mitchell Robinson, like I mentioned at the top, which means he might damn well play 48 minutes. I don't know why he wouldn't play at least like 45. Played about 43 in this last game, and we had some Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa is still available, but OG is the dude that Tibbs is relying upon to guard Pascal, which means he's going to mirror his minutes at the very least and probably get more of them like he did last game. And he's going to be closer to the basket. He's going to be in a better position to get these rebounds, which really started in the last series when he was the primary defender on Joel Embiid. And then you had guys like Hartenstein and Mitch Rob in that series. Now Precious Achiuwa moving forward for the Knicks with Mitch Rob's injury. But those dudes were backing him up, coming as the secondary help against guys like Pascal Siakam. They're leaving him on an island, to be honest with you. So it's really just going to be now OG guarding Pascal. I don't think he's going to do that well because Pascal is a little bit stronger and better around the rim, but it is going to mean that he's closer in the vicinity of getting these rebound chances, where Indy's shooting a lot of stuff inside the paint, which means there's fewer longer rebounds when they shoot a lot of threes, and they're going to keep attacking the basket, I'm pretty sure, without Mitchell Robinson in there, and that'll leave OG open for those boards, and Dante is good to go as well for those points. So a little same game parlay to kick things off. Next thing I want to show you here is the reason that I do prefer TJ McConnell and some of his props in this game over a guy like Andrew Nembhard, let's say. Look at the first game of this series and look at both offense versus Jalen Brunson and defense versus Jalen Brunson, because both of these dudes are matched up with Jalen on both sides of the floor pretty much for the entirety of the time that they're in the game. Now, TJ played about 22 minutes. Nembhard played 29. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see a few more minutes for TJ McConnell, because look at offense to start. Absolutely cooked Brunson, who was guarding him. When Brunson was on him, which was a total of 2 minutes of offense for the Pacers, 10 points for him on 5 of 6 field goals. Just going right by him. And it makes sense. One, Brunson's not the best defender in the world by any means, but the other reason would be he's exhausted from taking 29 shots, 14 free throws, and having the ball in his hand like 80% of the time for this Knicks team. So TJ comes in with a little bit fresher stamina and just goes right at him, and that's going to be his job all series. For Nembhard, he didn't really make Brunson work at all. He only took 1 shot. He missed it, had 0 points against him because he didn't get to the line at all. And that was in about 5 minutes and 30 seconds of work. Now, maybe Brunson had a little bit more stamina for Nembhard when he was in, but I would argue that like TJ McConnell was just a way worse matchup and a dude that got to the rim pretty much at will, or at least in the paint to put up his little bunny shots. If you look at the defense, this is where it's even more like noticeable, right? Which is Nembhard guarded him for 7 minutes and gave up 24 points. 24 of his like 43 points or whatever Brunson's scoring these days, as he gets 40 damn near every game. 24 points, 9 for 12 from the field. So not that he didn't really work for those shots, but they were all right in his wheelhouse, getting to about 12 to 15 feet, pull up, you keep going, boom, bucket, right? He's wet from there, just complete money. But for TJ McConnell, he was hounding him for the entirety of the court as Brunson's bringing the ball up, like inside of his jersey. I don't think I've seen anybody play as good a defense on Brunson this season. And I watched, I don't know, 70 Knicks games in full this year. And I swear to you, nobody has stood out the way TJ McConnell does for the 2 minutes that he was on him. 1 for 7 from the field. Just none of the stuff that he took looked comfortable for Jalen Brunson in that game. So I don't know, like Knicks fans were rejoicing when we saw TJ McConnell only play about 6 minutes in the second half. I don't know that that can be the case anymore. And either way, even if he does play 22 minutes again, I'm still very happy with this over 10.5 points for TJ McConnell, right? I mean, he took 16 shots last game, and he was tied for the most field goal attempts on the team with Pascal and Tyrese. I don't even know if it was Tyrese. Either way, 16 shots, 3 dudes took that amount for the Pacers, which is kind of the parity that you see for this team moving forward. And the whole season is a lot of dudes play similar minutes, and they all shoot the same amount and get a similar amount of rebounds and all that kind of stuff. But for TJ, he stands out, man. He comes in and his usage rate is highest, right? When he's on the floor, nobody took more shots than when he was in the game, right? And like I said about the defense and the offense, his job is to get out there and just work Jalen Brunson into the ground, make him get as tired as possible, which didn't really work in the last game. Jalen still settled down and got his, but for the most part, it was without TJ McConnell on him. It was never when TJ McConnell was in the game. So if you look at his plus minus, I mean, the bench was a little bit better in part because they come in and they do take on a tired starters team for the Knicks. Like the Knicks play like 6-7 guys now, max. And this Pacers squad is playing everybody like 36 minutes for Pascal, 36 minutes for Tyrese Halliburton, and 34 for Miles Turner. Everybody else is playing like less than 30 minutes, right? So you're going to keep seeing that for the Pacers, but for TJ McConnell, that doesn't matter because he's just got such a high usage rate and he's so necessary. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play a few more minutes. Quick reminder about the Discord that is live. Link in the description of the video. Getting a lot of good bets in there. I put everything in there first, and then we go ahead and also have a lot of good discussion about all the bets that we're looking at here, helping with some live bets as well. That's where you get all that stuff after these videos if you do want a bit more. So free for now. Jump in that Discord. Link in the description of the video. This bet might appear a little bit risky to some because now Mitchell Robinson is not going to be playing for the Knicks. However, I was still banking on Hartenstein playing about 35, 36 minutes and maybe a little bit less, to be honest with you. Now, like he's way better for this series than Mitch Rob was, but we might still see a good amount of Precious Achiuwa, who played a good amount during the regular season when Mitch Rob was out against this Pacers team because they do love to attack the rim. So you want some of the shot blocking or at least rim protection in there. But Hartenstein is matched up with Turner, which means he's getting pulled away from the rim. I took the under 21.5 points and rebounds combined, which was nice that I waited for Mitch Rob to the announcement about him getting hurt was enough to like have me go, okay, this actually went higher than what I was originally going to take it at. But I still like it at this number even without Mitchell Robinson, mostly because his rebounds not as available when he's out on the 3-point line guarding Miles Turner, like I said, and that's where Miles Turner lives. The other thing is, honestly, Miles Turner kind of big boyed him when he was in there because he's got about 3 inches. I mean, he's like a solid 7'1", maybe 7'2" for Miles Turner. Pretty big dude, despite the fact that he's a 3-point pull-up shooter or a catch-and-shoot guy these days. But either way, like, he's still going to be bigger when he does go down low. And when he doesn't go down low, now he's pulled Hartenstein away from the basket. I think a big part of this that I love is the points as well. 11.5 is now a very high points prop for Isaiah Hartenstein. He had 13 last game, but he would have had 10 if he didn't make a 70-foot buzzer beater at the half, right? And then you also look at the fact that, like I said, 36 points or 36 minutes, probably about his ceiling. He took 9 shots, so he would need to make a few more to get to this number if you even just look at the 11.5 points, because no threes are going to be made in this game for Isaiah Hartenstein, which means if he takes 9 shots, he's going to need to make 6 of them. And that's doable. It's a little bit above his season average, though. And I would also say that, like, Miles Turner's pretty good at limiting stuff, extended paint, not really down right next to the basket. Hartenstein should be able to get some stuff a little like he would normally be able to get stuff at the rim, except for he's just given up so much size. Plus, like I said, Miles Turner going to come out and be able to guard him on that little push shot that he has a little bit better than he did last game. I just don't think it's the number is good at this point for Hartenstein. I think it's way too high. We still get minus 110 to go under. So even though Mitch Rob is out, I still put his ceiling at 36 minutes regardless, and that's good enough for us to take him under 22 total points and rebounds combined. Jalen Brunson under, not points, but threes, 2.5 threes, going under that at minus 108 on Caesar for a full unit for JB. This is the second bet in a row I've taken under for him because last game I took under the 8.5 assists. The 7.5 is starting to get a little dicey, and we did hear Rick Carlisle say that they did see a little bit of success from blitzing Jalen Brunson last game. He said that in his post-game interview, but he also said that like he was worried about doubling him and blitzing him because of the fact that when he did find open guys like Dante DiVincenzo, that got his shooters hot, and that's not something they can afford either. However, either way, whatever they do, whether they blitz him or they play a little bit more drop defense and stay out on the shooters, they're not going to drop off of him. They're going to hedge out whoever sets a screen for him on the pick and roll. They're going to hedge out and run him off of that 3-point line because that's what they do to everybody. They're not going to want him to shoot that. They're not going to give him that. He did cook them inside the 3-point line last game, and he only made one of those threes. He took 4 of them. One of them was one that we being the Knicks really needed to really stay in that game. There was about 2.5 minutes left. They were down about 5 or 6 points, and Jalen Brunson hit a 3 that he just sort of grabbed it and pulled it. And it wasn't the best shot by any means, but it didn't touch anything but the net. And it was huge. Now, it was really one that was a little bit more desperation. And so my point is like the only 3 he made was in desperation. All the others still not really good attempts because this team is so good at limiting threes are the Pacers. He's taken now 5 a game against this Pacers squad in all the games that he's played this season, including the playoffs. And the first regular season game, he took 8 of them and made like 4 of them, right? So the numbers keep dropping for the amount of threes that he's taking. He just took 4 in this last game after taking 8 in the first game of the regular season. Like I said, Indy's defense is made for not letting you even pull threes, much less make them. So I think they're going to continue to run him off the line. And he knows that. And he knows that the free throw attempts are going to be there for him. So one little head fake and the hezzy and go. And he's either going to get all the way to the rim or a little floater, or he's going to stop on a dime and make that 10 to 12 footer. Those are the 25 of the 29 shots he took. That was the case, right? And then he had the 14 free throws, which Indy is the worst team at limiting free throws in the league. Jalen Brunson knows that. He knows everything down low is available against that super weak interior defense. And I expect him to keep going and getting the easy buckets as opposed to pulling the threes. One more thing I want to show you. I don't have a play for this yet. I am going to have the live stream pop in tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, as I do every day. And we find a few more bets in there. I take the bets that you guys put in the comments and we go through them together so I can show you exactly how I'm finding the stuff that I'm finding. But I wanted to show you this in case before you see me tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., you do make a bet involving rebounds for a Pacers player. Look at the even distribution between these rebound chances for all these dudes. Miles Turner had 2, Nesmith had 6, Siakam had 6, Halliburton had like 1 or 2, Nembhard same, and Jackson I think had 6 or 7 and basically led the team in rebounding and played like 18 minutes in that game, Isaiah Jackson. So I still think Isaiah Jackson's pretty good for this series. He was a problem for the Knicks in this last game, but just be careful because of the way that they play minutes and that there's not just dudes on the floor for 48 of them. Like Josh Hart played the whole last game for the Knicks. OG played 43. Brunson played like 43. All these dudes for the Knicks are going to be dudes that get rebounds because they're on the floor for that amount of time. But when you only play like max 36 minutes or Nembhard like 29 or Jackson playing like 15, 16, whatever it was, like you don't necessarily want to just go all in on rebounds just because Pascal's at 7.5. Well, he only had 9 rebound chances last game. Pretty hard to get 8 boards on 9 rebound chances. It's almost something that you never see, right? Like it's very rare, let me put it that way. So I know that Mitchell Robinson's out and all this stuff might seem like, okay, rebounds for the Pacers, but this is me just heeding caution and not even giving you a bet, just letting you know if you're going to make a bet before I see you tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., be careful with these overs on rebounds for these Pacers players. That is all the time that I have for you in this one. Quick reminder on the way out, 25% off of your first month for props.cash. That is the tool that I'm using more than any at this point, and I have a nice partnership going with them because of how much I love this tool, and I don't feel bad promoting it to you because it's something that's helped me a ton as I'm making these bets every day. It's the first thing I go to and sort of my home base for these player props. So just wanted to let you know you can use code LYB24 in the event that you do want to go ahead and get this and try it out for a month, right? Get like a 1-month deal. You get 25% off. Really nice thing there. But I will be back for that live stream tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to get a bit more. Jump in that Discord as well if you're not in there yet, because we'll be talking, I'm sure, before I see y'all tomorrow for that live stream. And until I do see you then, happy betting.